offensive tackles are in there, and that is...
On the topic of fights, guys, yeah, that was definitely a fight for your brain to get through. But, hey, it's still a football game at the end of the day. Let's get this thing going.
5 games, 16 touchdowns, 19 trips. Here's Jennings, and he's going to take it in after breaking tackle. They fake it to him. Purdy down the middle, and he's picked by Horn. J.C. Panthers on 1st and goal. Young keeps. He's got a man, and he's picked by Jair Brown. It's 3rd down and 6. Purdy down the middle for Pearsall, and he's picked again. Play action. Purdy picked again. 3rd 1, 2nd for Including last week in overtime. Yeah. He's able to knock it through. Play number 13 on this drive. Toss to McCaffrey. Gets blocking and a touchdown. Little shoulder fake. End zone shot. He's got the rookie touchdown. McMillan, and the Panthers are back in it. Replaced by Jake Moody. Young over the middle and intercepted by Brown for the 2nd time. Goal try coming from Ryan Fitzgerald as they'll try to make it a 1-possession game, and it's not close.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, in some ways, that Monday Nighter to close out Week 12, and now we are going to Thanksgiving. That does mean that the playoff picture will be first brought into light by me for the power rankings tomorrow. But anyway, what we saw last night was not the greatest game, as the Niners took care of business against the Panthers 20-9, in a game where Bryce Young was brutal for the Panthers as they fall to 6-6. 6-6, my bad. And they will be more than glad to be 6-7, as they will get rocked by the Rams next week over Thanksgiving. But the Niners moved 8-4. They have their bye week as well as Panthers come up a little bit. They will be heading to Cleveland, somewhere where they have not had a ton. They definitely had upsets in the prior, which I'll definitely talk about over the weekend. But still, that's not for now. For this game for the Niners, though, they do again move over to 8-4. It's another first time they've been 4 games over 500 since way back in 2023. I know, again, it was so long ago. But going to Cleveland next week, the Niners team's in a good spot. In terms of what we saw from the Panthers in this game, the number one thing I saw is the fact that this offense cannot take advantage of, again, drives. It's that simple. This defense played very, very well, all things said. I mean, you forced like 3 or 4 turnovers. That should be a good indicator of how you'll play. But the fact that this offense, specifically on the ground, really didn't get a good rhythm going was a very, very telling sign of how this team can be. Yes, there's going to be games against the Packers because of how this defense plays in those types of games where they can go into someone else's house and win a game. But Bryce Young throwing 2 picks, not making the right reads, is going to really hold them back from doing that. So that's what I said. This is a team that can win these games. Again, obviously they're going to lose games too. There's kind of definitely a wide spectrum with them. But if they don't show up on defense in games, like if their defense didn't show up in this game, they would have gotten blown out. It's just that simple because this offense cannot compete on the level they need to be able to. But Bryce Young in this game, I noticed again, like I talked, the two picks. The first one, he should have ran it in. The second one really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just a misread on his own. You're going to have that happen sometimes. Sack he took wasn't the end of the world. He did do a decent job, not under pressure, but at least handling it up front. He just straight up didn't execute. I think it was like 1 of 6 for like 14 yards and 2 picks when he got blitzed. When he got pressure, I think it was a little bit better, but still not great. Again, Bryce Young in this game wasn't good enough. When he had a clean pocket, he was pretty efficient. Again, he actually made some nice throws, but at the same time, the drops are definitely apparent in this offense as well. He just didn't really execute the way he needed to, and these were definitely some telling signs for what this offense can be like the rest of the season. Speaking of that, for this running game, it really came down to the fact they didn't really have many explosive holes to run through. Rico Dowdle's a guy that does need those holes to really break open early. After that happens, he obviously can be a very good player, but I mean, he does need, again, a guy like, who is it? It was, Ikem Ekwonu to make kind of something out of nothing, and the fact that, again, he wasn't really able to do that against this D-line, which isn't even the greatest in the first place, was definitely a little bit concerning. Chuba Hubbard only got 3 carries. Bryce Young, I guess, ran the ball a couple of times. Rico Dowdle was their leading receiver to cut him down to $10 million, despite him having a 29-yard touchdown, having one of his worst games of his career up to this point. Obviously, still a rookie, though. Jalen Coker, I guess, was out there. Again, realistically, though, the fact that Xavier ran like 5 actual routes without that actually got himself open is a big issue. Jatavion Sanders, Tommy Tremble, it didn't matter who you threw out there, tight end, none of them did a good job blocking. It was a big issue for this team. The fact they still don't really have a receiver, that's great. That is actually like consistently reliable is a massive issue for this offense. No one's scared of this offense whatsoever. Meanwhile, for this defense, they absolutely had got 3 picks on Purdy. J.C. Horn had 2. He left the game with concussion. Obviously, the most talented player, honestly, in this entire team. I don't really think it's that close. He had a big-time game before he left. Derek Brown, 3 tackles. He was very disruptive against the run. Again, as a pass rusher, really didn't give you a ton, as he hasn't really given you all year. Bobby Brown was pretty fun to watch. Iju Wano, I think, got like 4 or 5 pressures. There was a lot of contributions from their best players. Even Princely Anunaman, the rookie, he had a solid game with a forced fumble. Really, the only thing I noticed that was concerning from this defense is the fact that a guy like Trayvon Mullen wasn't as dynamic as he usually is in coverage. Smith-Wade actually, in terms of man coverage, I think had his best game of the season. A lot of good things from this defense in this game, despite the fact that I think they could have been a little bit better in terms of their opportunities in this one. At the end of the day, though, they did enough to win this game. It was the fact that this offense couldn't do much of anything. For the Niners, though, Brock Purdy throwing 3 picks in the first half is inexcusable, obviously, there. On the first one, I think it was Juwan Jennings just not really running a great route. He kind of got boxed out there. Brock Purdy didn't really throw it in a good spot either, I got to be honest there. But his other 2 picks were obviously pretty bad. Again, definitely not his best game. Definitely showed me flashbacks to that Monday night where we had a Christmas with him against the number 1 seeded Ravens that year. I think they had the best record in the league, right? Running game, Christian McCaffrey is now, again, I think he's under 4 yards per carry in the season. But again, he did what he needed to. He scored a touchdown on 89 yards. Again, against his former team. First time he's actually played against the Panthers so far in his career, considering again he got traded from back in 2022. Pretty interesting there. But George Kittle, 6 for 78. He had a pretty darn good game. He's now put up what is now 3 straight games with pretty good numbers. Christian McCaffrey also got a couple targets. Juwan Jennings, outside of the first drive, really wasn't that effective. Obviously, he was pretty frustrated by the end of the game. Ricky Pearsall only got 4 targets. Still, again, didn't put up that Monday night performance we saw last year against Detroit. Again, at home there. But honestly, offensively, it came out of the fact this offensive line kind of blocked well, sort of. I don't know. It was kind of a mixture of things. I didn't have to completely break down the film from the receivers, but none of them really were making a bunch of plays. And obviously, George Kittle was kind of the focal point of this passing game at the end of the day. Brock Purdy, though, next week, please don't throw 3 picks in Cleveland. That's all I'll say. Defensively, I was pleasantly surprised by how good they were in coverage. I didn't expect a guy like Jair Brown to have 2 picks off of Bryce Young, but again, he did his thing out there. Blake Mustafa continues to be their best DB. Obviously, Diamador Lenore and Ronaldo Green are lockdown boundary corners, but neither one of those guys are really going to ask to be like these huge dynamic difference makers. Really just don't give up a ton of separation. That's what we saw in this one. Passers were a little bit shaky. I didn't really see the consistent influencing of the pocket or penetration, but it still was to a point where they were winning somewhat consistently, which I think was honestly good enough in this game for them. Bryce Hoff continues to kind of have a rough stretch here. I think he might have only had 1 pressure, and that might be generous. I will say the linebackers played very well. They were very disciplined, and they, again, honestly didn't have to do a ton, but the fact, again, they were still able to, again, play up the level they needed to was very impressive. For the team stats, obviously we look at the Niners, they outgained them by over 100 yards. Other than that, again, third down, they were pretty efficient. Overall, it was really the efficiency that was made the difference in this game. The fact they had 3 turnovers and still won, again, I get Bryce Young through 2, but still, had 30 minutes of possession. Niners, again, just got the advance win. Not really much else to this game. I hope you guys enjoy your night, though, and we'll see you guys for the power rankings. And the first time we'll be looking at the playoff picture tomorrow.
He said, I tried to talk to the other official. He said no.
Jokic.